What's your favorite game of all time? Now imagine if the main character of that game was turned into a Pokemon. What would that look like? It's a bit awkward if your favorite game of all time is Pokemon because, well, it's already been done. And one of my favorite games of all time is BioShock, but I don't think that calling a Pokemon Big Daddy is really among the Nintendo wheelhouse. So today we're going to take a look at turning video game characters into Pokemon by my friend TrueGreen7. Let's see what we got here.
Hey guys,
Ron here. Wait, is that the Game Corner theme? I always get locked onto the music people use in the background of these videos. I don't know why. It distracts me because I really love figuring out what the music is and why it was chosen. It's just very upbeat. It's a nice way to start the video.
For a long time, I've wanted to translate characters from other franchises into designs that can fit into the Pokemon world. I'm a big fan of crossovers, so that's why I'm gonna finally turn some video game characters into Pokemon.
Spoilers! I know we're gonna get Sonic now. Okay, it's literally it's in the thumbnail. It's in the thumbnail.
I'll try my best to consider how their abilities translate into Pokemon moves and abilities. Hopefully you guys enjoy these creations enough for this to be a full-fledged series. We'll start off.
And I guess they did, because it is a full-fledged series, which you can go and check out the rest of the episodes after you're done watching this episode. I'll go ahead and link the entire playlist in the description for your viewing pleasure.
With some of the most iconic video game characters in this video. Keep in mind, the types and concepts of these Pokemon aren't gonna literally be the same as their inspiration. Just because I'm making a Mario Pokemon, that doesn't mean it's gonna be a humanoid normal type plumbing Pokemon. I want to create separate, believable Pokemon that have unique concepts based on their origins.
Well, there's a lot of stuff you can do with Mario. You can have like a form changing kind of thing, like a Castmore and an Arceus, because it grabs things and it changes into like a fire type. It changes into a flying type. If you get the Tanuki suit, it could be one of those multifaceted form changes.
Let's begin with Mario. We have various ways to look at this. I want to make this Pokemon based on some kind of animal that is associated with Mario. Now, a cat would be too generic. Perhaps an animal with a mustache, like a walrus, but I do for a fact know.
Oh, they're really cute though. Hold on. I didn't realize they were so adorable.
That I want to make this Pokemon an
honestly, if you're going to tell me that Mario is any kind of animal, I would agree. Walrus is the one.
Athletic fighting type, so Walrus is kind of impossible. How about a Tanuki? They're probably the animal most associated with Mario, considering his power-ups and even the concept of mythological Tanukis in Japan. They're recognized as jolly, plump shapeshifters.
Okay, so we're going Tanuki. This one doesn't fly, right? There is a flying suit that you can put on. I'm pretty sure Tanukis don't fly, just looking at them. Although I would be very surprised if I'm wrong. I guess it would be maybe like a ground type, since it can burrow underground, I believe. Or it could be probably not grass. In fact, I think ground sounds good.
You can turn Mario.
And I'm not just saying that because it's brown. Okay, I think it would fit with the actual animal too.
Mario's hat into the leaf that Tanukis are associated with and wear on their head. And grass type does make.
Oh, it could be the mortgage Pokemon based off Tom Nook.
Since most of Mario's power-ups are mushroom-based, but the problem is that Mario is very much heavily associated with fire, so the two type options are fighting grass and fighting fire. I think I will decide as I design.
I guess fighting does make sense because of Smash Bros, doesn't it? He literally fights. But then again, there's a lot of video game characters in Smash Bros too, but he is the main guy, and fire is his main thing. His Smash Ultimate is a fire Kamehameha. And I know it's not really a Kamehameha, but it kind of looks like one, and I do like Kamehameha. I always tried to do one when I was a kid, so.
Design this Pokemon. I started out by making a terrible mistake, which was turning Mario into a Pokemon instead of making a Pokemon that is based on Mario. You see, I was basically just taking literal Super Mario and adding animal features, and the biggest mistake was thinking I could make a mustached Pokemon look natural.
Okay, we're doing the whole, are we gonna get the whole gap? Are we gonna get the hat? I feel like the hat is important here.
I can technically make it look good, but not when the Pokemon also has a Mario nose and...
I guess it doesn't make sense for an animal to be wearing a hat though, right? Although I guess there are some animals that do wear hats. I mean, this Probopass, the thing has a mustache.
Mario's eyes. It literally just looks like a furry Mario. I tried doing the same thing, but giving him proportions that were more akin to a starter Pokemon, but again...
Maybe in the lore of the Pokemon, it could have a hat because it steals it from humans. Maybe it's some kind of... I guess Mario's not really a thief, though. He doesn't really steal too much, so maybe that wouldn't work.
I was still just taking Mario and making it a Pokemon. So when I noticed that this direction wasn't correct, I decided to conceive a design from a different angle. This time, I'm creating a Pokemon that looks like a Pokemon, but is based on Mario. So I will first focus on making it look like an original idea, and then add in the Mario attributes. Even before adding the Mario design features, the fact that it's in Mario's signature pose already makes it look like a mascot. Now I'm
Yeah, the jump is a huge part to make it look like Mario here.
So they match some of Mario's figure. And as you can see, the Tanuki patterns resemble overalls. Instead of adding a full-on mustache, I made a subtle furry upper lip. And added
okay, Skull. Okay, I see how you're working with this here. He's basically Mario in the Tanuki suit.
Patterns that resemble clothes. I thought about.
And the personality matching Mario with the stances is also a huge part to making it feel more like it is a proper crossover.
Turning its raccoon-like patterns into leaves, but finally realized that an entire leaf motif would clash with Mario's concept. So I simply turned it into a fire type with a tail that looks like a burning wick.
Oh, okay. I want to guess the stats though. I assume that Mario isn't going to be like the strongest thing in the world. It's not going to have legendary like stats. It'll probably have some base stat between like 400 to 500, somewhere around there. Maybe a little bit over 500 because I guess Mario could be classified as something close to a starter, which usually has what, like 535, something around there. So it could be something that has good attack, something that has good speed, maybe, because Mario's kind of fast. He's not super fast, not like Sonic, but maybe low defenses, because obviously he can't take many hits. If he gets hit, boom, 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 with the mushroom, and if he gets hit again, he goes one-shot. So he's still gonna have good defenses, right? I mean, that's my guess.
Mario's signature red colors, but I'll keep on adjusting the colors off screen. Meet Nimble.
There he is. Okay, wait. Okay, there we go. We got good attack stats, decent speed. The base stat total is 485, like I guessed. We have pretty, mediocre defenses because it's not really that good. And then, oh, that's an interesting shiny form. I thought the shiny form might be black and white because of the fact that Mario originated on the Game Boy that didn't have any colors, which would have been interesting, but he's going to probably explain what the shiny form came from. He is about the size of a person. He's about 5'1", a little bit under Ron. And then we have Limber, and Power Up, and Vital Spirit. Power Up makes sense. I wonder if that's, wait, is that a new ability? Is Power Up an ability? I don't think it's an ability. I think it is.
The jumping Pokemon. From Tanuki and Nimble, a fighting fire type. This Pokemon is incredibly kind, cheerful, and eager to help. Nimble are incredibly confident and love competition. They're extremely athletic and perform stupefying acrobatic stunts. They release an explosive jet of fire from their tail that allows them to leap 10 times their height. And while portly, they are light on their feet and can jump on walls and land with ease. Nimble are able to pick up even the heaviest of objects, and the impact of their jump can subdue most foes. They're able to use tools and
I love how the lore is tied into how the Pokedex entry is coming together. It's really cool.
Fire through their fists, often firing balls of fire when serious or enraged. They have this new ability called Power Up, which makes their moves stab based on what kind of berry they're holding. For example, if they're holding a person berry, psychic moves become stab. Nimble.
Oh, that's this really cool way to implement power-ups too. It's literally called Power Up. Daniel, you stupid idiot! It's called Power Up. What is that? Why didn't you tell me? Why didn't they didn't? Okay, to be fair, all of those guys have been in the background the entire time. They didn't say a thing.
Move pool is incredibly versatile since it's a jack of all trades, so it's able to utilize this ability. Its other abilities are Limber and Vital Spirit. Of course, it's shiny as a reference to Luigi.
Hey, I mean, this guy is Limber. You see, no, I can't jump as high as he can. You see, that guy's a jumper.
And the more I ruminate on this design, the more I like it. I love how it has the exact aura of Mario while being a completely different design. I was glad that Mario's abilities do coincide with that of Tanuki's in Japanese mythology, although that was probably somewhat intentional. I do want to try to make the next few designs look even more like Pokemon, though.
That is really cute. I will say, I can already tell a lot of the comment section was probably like, why didn't you just make it a furry Mario? Because that's not as fun. This is more creative and interesting. This is more of an interesting way to do it. It asks the question, okay, if it was a Pokemon, how would they make it? Because it's supposed to be a naturally occurring animal, or at least naturally occurring in the Pokemon world, and not just a furry version of the thing that you already know, right?
Now let's take a break from Nintendo and try to turn Sega's mascot into a Pokemon. Sonic will be incredibly easy.
I mean, yeah, this shouldn't be too difficult. Although, in terms of typing, I guess, that's kind of like a hard typing. Maybe fairy? I guess some, like, Fae vibes from Sonic. I don't know if this is just me, but I get Fae vibes from it.
To turn into a Pokemon since he's already an animal with superpowers. How about we make a Pikachu clone with the cool...
I guess you could go ground since it is a hedgehog.
Vibes of other iconic Pokemon like Lucario. Speed is often associated with electricity, so an electric-type hedgehog akin to...
Oh, wait, electric. Yeah, why didn't I think of electric? Like, when he runs fast, he has, like, electricity coming off his feet. When he goes supersonic, he turns yellow. I assume the shiny version is going to be yellow for supersonic, right?
Togedemaru would be a convincing Pokemon since it already kind of exists. I've always liked the idea of blue electric types, so let's make a next-gen Pikachu clone that outspeeds all other Pikachu clones.
Okay, so what I'm going to guess the speed stat. I don't think it's going to be ludicrous. I don't think that the base stat total of Sonic is going to be higher than Mario either. I feel like its speed is going to be somewhere along the lines of like 150. and it's going to have maybe decent attack too, but everything else is going to be really low.
Starting out with a mouse-like shape. Obviously, instead of shoes and gloves, this Pokemon will have feet and hand nubs. I'm going to try to combine the head and body, so it's not literally Sonic. Something closer.
I mean, as long as you get those quills on the back, like, it's easy. As long as you get blue quills, it's Sonic. Like, you don't really need all the other, you don't need gloves. You really don't need gloves. You don't need the big eye. The Sonic's eye really just freaked me out. It has like one eye, but it has two pupils. Very strange. Do we ever figure out why that is? Is that just a mutation? Was there some kind of terrible, horrific accident? Did he come from Fallout Land? Is he a ghoul?
To a Pikachu in proportions. The Sonic spikes can stay, but let's make its facial features less exaggerated like Sonic's. Something cute and cool. Electric.
He's got a smirk too.
And I gave it these super cool eyes, but in the final design, it'll be more akin to Sonic's original, more cute eyes. Now I'm separating the parts that will be blue and the parts that will have a skin tone, but unlike in Sonic's actual design, I'm combining the face and stomach pattern into one big patch.
Yeah, I mean, this is Sonic. Even without the colors, I'm like, yeah, this is
colors,
great.
But in the final design, I make them look more natural to Pokemon's color palette and remove the piercing green eyes.
He has the shoes. Okay, he has shoes on. Look at him. It's not. I know it's not actual shoes. It's his feet. But it looks like he has little shoes on.
It looks too much like Sonic's actual face. Here is Sanda from.
Oh, yeah, okay, so the shiny version is Sanda. That's really cute. The shiny version is Super Sonic, which is really cool. I do like that a lot. We have 130 base speed. He actually has lower stats than Mario, so the Sonic fans are going to be foaming at the mouth in the comment section for this one. I can already tell. Sonic is shorter than the average person. I imagine that's probably the height that he is in the Sonic movie, actually. Yeah, speed boost, obviously. Like, he go fast. That makes sense. He has good attack. I was thinking it would be around 100, and yeah, it's exactly where it is.
From Sonic, and the Japanese pronunciation of Thunder, since it's a trend that Pikachu clones use their Japanese names in English as well. It's the speed Pokemon and is pure electric. Sanda is always on the move. It does not settle in one route and can be found all throughout the region. It's free-spirited and adventurous. It hates being constrained and will often let itself out of its trainer's Pokeball. It will fight for the freedom of all Pokemon using its powers. It takes a tough trainer to deal with Sanda's impatience.
It will fight for the freedom of all Pokemon using its powers. That's a reference to the first Sonic game where you free all of the little animals at the end of the level.
Ego and recklessness. This Pokemon can run at Mach 1. It can generate electricity by...
Is that the fastest one, or is I'm not exactly sure. How does Mach speed work? Mach 1 isn't the ratio of the speed of an aircraft to the speed of sound. An airplane flying at less than Mach 1 is traveling at subsonic speed. At about Mach 1, a transonic is the speed of sound. Oh, rolling around at the speed of sound. Oh, okay, that's why Mach 1 is the speed of sound.
Rotating into a ball and launching itself at targets, instantly stunning them. It stores excess electricity in its cheeks and feet. Sanda can control the durability of its quills and shoot them out with electricity, zapping and piercing its opponents at the same time. Sanda are actually aquaphobic. They have the abilities Speed Boost and...
They're aquaphobic. I will say, that theme that they play is probably the scariest theme that you can get in any kind of... This stresses me out, man. This is ridiculous. Why? This... Oh my god, I do not... Why? How did they... Stop it! Stop it! Oh, we're dead. Okay, cool.
Steadfast, with the hidden ability Defiant. Their shiny is, as you can tell, a reference to Supersonic, but can allude to Pikachu. I think this one came out super successful. It's literally Sonic as a Pokemon. Originally, I tried my best to make it look a little too much like Sonic, but toned down a few features because it became too uncanny to look at Sonic in a Pokemon body. But this is definitely an incredible success in my book, and I could totally see it as a real Pokemon.
Yeah, really, Sonic is such an iconic character. You really don't need too much. You don't need to make it too similar. Like I said, as long as you have the quills and the color, boop, you're solid.
I love how natural the shoes and arms translate into a Pokemon, too.
It's very nice. Look at all the
gloves! Now
gloves!
Let's go back to Nintendo and turn Link into a Pokemon.
Oh, boy. Wait a minute. Is this going to be a wolf because of Twilight Princess? It might be.
There are many incarnations of Link.
Honestly, you could go dark. I know it's controversial to say dark, but you could go dark. I'm just saying.
So our Pokemon will be an amalgam of all the Links. It's obviously going to carry a sword and a shield, so I don't think I can easily...
Wait, so it's going to be a fusion of Zacian and Zamazenta?
Base it on some kind of quadrupedal animal that Link is associated with, like a horse or wolf.
Oh, okay, never mind. You're right. That was dumb of me to say. I shouldn't have... You're right. That was a silly idea. It wouldn't make any sense, of course. It's... Oh, yeah. So what's your idea?
If I made them stand up, their weapon wouldn't look that natural as part of their body. And I also want this Pokemon to stay green like Link, so let's make it a grass-type Pokemon and some kind of woodland creature that is covered in leaves. How about a Pokemon that can control the leaves on its body and create a natural sword and shield made out of plants? It's a
what is the creature in the Majora's Mask game where you put on the mask and you become like, it's the first mask that you put on and it turns you into literally like a woodland creature that can shoot stuff out. What about that?
Theme in Pokemon, and elf-like humanoids such as Hylians would also naturally translate into the fairy type. So let's make a forest.
Oh, fairy. Yeah, fairy does make a lot more sense. What was I thinking with dark? What is wrong with me? He's literally a fairy guy.
Knight that fights for good. I'm gonna make it a vague humanoid, like a lot of fairy types. It's an elf-like creature. I'm gonna give it a Link pose, but
oh, already? Yeah, this is coming together really well. You just look at this. You got the shield. The hat is so iconic. I didn't realize how important the hat would be in the situation and the spiky ears.
Throughout its existing body. It is honestly a very straightforward process. It's all about finding the correct patterns and layout of leaves. Every part of its clothes.
And the layered leaves give the tunic impression, but it also kind of feels a little bit like armor too.
And weapons is made out of leaves, but its actual skin will be more like bark. I added patterns to the bottom leaves to allude to Link's chainmail.
Oh, the sword is built into his arm.
Pointy leaf sword that is part of his hand. It can control the leaves, so when it's not fighting, the shield and sword turn back into leaf gloves, finalizing the proportions and finding the most appropriate face patterns. Obviously, the leaves are green and the skin is a light chestnut.
That is so sick. That's coming together so nicely.
This thing is a tree fairy. Behold, Valoroot.
Wow, that's really cool. Okay, I wonder if the shiny is based on the fact that the Game Boy, Black and White, etc., etc. He's 5'7", so just saying that's pretty much the average height. I think. Wait, is 5'9" the average height? I don't know what the average height for a person is, but there we got that. It's got long reach because obviously courage. Oh, courage isn't a good ability because that's his freaking Triforce, man. He's got decent speed. He's got good attack. He's not too overpowered. He's quite strong though.
The Courage Pokemon, a grass fairy type. Valoroot are rather silent and have an inflated sense of duty. They take it upon themselves to protect the environment in which they inhabit. They travel throughout their domain collecting items and defeating Pokemon and humans that threaten peace. They're incredibly courageous and never give up in the face of adversity. They're able to control the configuration of the vegetation that grows on them, turning their leaves into swords, shields, and even bows and arrows. They can even control the thickness
maybe bombs too
of their plants, giving them adequate protection from impact. They're expert swordsmen and can aim their leaves over long distances. They can even extend the length of their leaf swords,
like a boomerang,
catching their enemies off guard. It takes many trials for these Pokemon to reach their full strength though. They have a new ability called
also, he has the sword in his left hand, which I think in the original games, I don't know if he still does this, but Link used to be left-handed with his sword, which I always thought was a bit strange because obviously the regular, most people are right-handed, and I thought it was interesting that they went with the left hand with the sword.
Which is their version of Clear Body, preventing stat reduction. They also have Guts and the hidden ability Long Reach. Their shiny is both a reference to Shadow Link and mostly Fierce Deity Link. I think.
Oh, Fierce Deity Link, that's right. Okay, to be fair, to defend myself a little bit, I have only played two Zelda games. I played Tears of the Kingdom, great game, loved it, thoroughly enjoyed it. And the other game that I played was Oracle of Ages on the GBA, so it's been a while, and I haven't played too many of them.
I think this design is the least controversial since it's the most like its own Pokemon. It's like a Pokemon based on the concept of Link instead of a literal Link Pokemon.
Yeah, it's very cool. It's also called Valoroot, which is really sick too.
It's a literal Link face, like the other designs. It's relatively complicated for a regular Pokemon design, but I thought since this is for fun, I might as well flesh it out fully. My idea came through and I'm happy about that.
Yeah, no, it looks great. You did a really good job with this.
Turn one of, if not the first video game mascots into a Pokemon. Pac-Man will be tough because this concept...
is Pac-Man going to be a normal type? I feel like Pac-Man could go with the normal type. He could also potentially go with the fighting type because the gloves kind of look like boxing gloves a little bit.
It's a little too minimal. He's a yellow circle that eats. We already have a few yellow orbs in Pokemon and a bunch of round Pokemon who eat a lot. So let's just combine the concept with a Pac-Man frog. It's another name for the South American horned frog because of its similarities to Pac-Man. And a smiling yellow round Pokemon frog isn't that bad of an idea. So let's do this thing.
That is so interesting. I didn't even know this thing existed.
Big smiley face. Now we just have to gradually make it look like both Pac-Man and a frog. Cute stuff.
He's just a happy little guy.
That will make it look more like its own Pokemon than a generic frog. Both horned frogs and Pac-Man have eyebrows. And
I hope he gets the gloves.
Work as the eyes of a frog. But now let me add patterns to make it look less boring and reference the patterns on a horned frog. The pattern on its nose even slightly resembles Pac-Man's nose, making it yellow because, and the patterns will be slightly orange so they don't pop out too much. Almost like these patterns actually exist on Pac-Man.
This is so cool.
But his design was too simplified to include them. Say hi to Roundevour.
Oh, wow, that was quick too. Yeah, look at that. Okay. Is the purple based off of Mrs. Pac-Man? Like there's a female version that's kind of pinky. Okay, we got big attack stat, decent speed, very low special attack with Gluttony. Obviously, he's a consuming guy. And it's normal type. It's normal type.
The consuming Pokemon, a pure normal type.
It's called Roundevour because he's rounded, he devours.
This Pokemon loves to eat and is calm and easygoing unless hungry. They're extremely friendly and enjoy the company of humans and Pokemon. This Pokemon has the ability to see incorporeal beings and energy. It can consume pure energy like light and even souls.
Because it can see the ghosts and it can eat the ghosts.
For this reason, this Pokemon is always happy, since this Pokemon's food source is infinite. When they're not eating, they'll take care of their loved ones. While naive, they're able to solve complex puzzles and fight with great skill. They can maneuver through mazes and weave their way through a battle. That's why it's rare for an opponent to land a hit on Roundevour. They have the abilities Gluttony and Immunity, with the hidden ability Scrappy, allowing them to actually touch ghost types. Their shiny is a reference to Miss Pac-Man. Now guys,
it is!
This is kind of my favorite one.
This is really cute. It's such a creative idea, too.
Looks like it's inspiration, but can be perceived as an original Pokemon at first.
He also has immunity because he's immune to the ghosts once he gets the little globule that allows it to eat him. His Scrappy can hit ghosts, because Gluttony because he eats. It's really creative.
It's incredibly cute. Pac-Man was the one I was the most hesitant about since he was rather plain, but it ends.
I feel like coming up with the names would be the hardest part of all of this. I would be sitting and umming and erring about the names all day.
Translating into a very adorable design. Make sure to check out my other art videos for...
That was so good! Well, if you want to check out the other art videos, I'll leave the playlist linked in the description. There's a ton there. Oh my god, Amogus, for example. Wow, just look at that. If you want to see more of my dumb face, then you can always subscribe here as well.